the intro and kind of, give us a little warm up here.
All right. Let me get it started.
Okay.
Um, Let me bring it up. I gotta
It
come
was
back
just
to
that
the and then start sharing. Go to the
Sakina, you were
window.
sharing before. You do know that, right? You were sharing
I
before.
know.
You took it off the.
Here it is.
Okay.
All right, y'all see it?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
She got style, grace. She got attitude. Feel it much in her touch. Show my gratitude. She got style, grace.
Woo!
Yeah, I like that. That's hot.
Yes. Yes, Auntie.
Yeah,
All right.
she got gratitude. Yes, gratitude is the order of the day because gratitude really is right. A part. It's a word that's used in the workforce. It's gratitude. Most people are really just you know happy to have a job, right? But we're hoping to sit here and have conversations where we kind of deep dive a little bit deeper into just the moment of having a job. We want to have a little gratitude, and I think the issue is, how do we make that money, right? How do we bring up
Pause for a
our
minute.
time?
Hold on. Wait a
Mm-mm.
minute. I think our show is getting chopped up.
Oh no.
Yes. Hold on.
Okay. Are you talking about the audio?
No, I'm thinking the whole video. I think our schedule got cut up into two pieces.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, while you're
They cut
working on
up
that,
one and
yeah, because we can hear you, Sakina. You may want to mute yourself while you're working on that so that I can sit
okay.
here and finish talking. Thank you. So as I was saying, we probably want to, I'm pretty sure at this point, post COVID, people are really interested in getting that finance up, right? And making that finance spread, and then they can feel like, oh, then I have some gratitude because I'm finally making some decent money. I think decent money
Mm-hmm.
is going to be, you know, it's kind of like what this election is predicated upon. It's kind of like what all things are predicated upon is this finance piece right about now, right? People are not having enough money to really, stretch it, to stretch for the duration, right, of your
Mm-hmm.
household and really just say, dang, I'm doing it big.
Right.
I'm popping. Yeah, we popping. So today I want to have my guests. I have one, two, three, four. Originally supposed to have like six guests here, but I want everyone to go around the table and introduce yourselves. And then we're going to swing back around and ask you more about the industry and the jobs that you all are in. So, Rasha, we'll start with you. And Rasha, by the way, everyone, is the Corporate Conversation new co-host. So, welcome, Rasha. I'm so happy to,
Thank
see you. I haven't saw you
you.
since Oakland, right? It's been
Thank
since,
you.
yeah, and that was what, that
Yes.
was of July.
Yes. And it's quite a bit of stuff going on here out in Oakland. But for me, I've been working in the corporate industry for customer service. I just made 23 years. But before
Wow.
that, I'm the oldest of five girls, and I've been married for 29 years, and I have a daughter. And there are things that I wish I knew that maybe this corporate conversation could have helped me with along the way when I first started out in trying to get a job and trying to make myself available to learn and to do new things. So I think this is going to be a wonderful platform for myself and all the wonderful young ladies here today. All right,
Yes,
that was just
yes.
short, sweet.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we have Callie Chick here today, and Callie Chick is actually my middle sister. So I have both my sisters here
Awesome.
today, and I have my cousin because they all work. Our family works in some. We're interesting. We're just interesting. We really are. We have so much diversity as far as jobs. It's almost like unreal. It really is. So Callie Chick, I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Callie Chick. I am a truck driver. I've been truck driving or trucking for, I started during COVID. So 4 years now, but before that, transportation started at 18. So I've driven school buses, city buses. I've also threw a little bit of pharmacy up in there too, about 10 years worth of pharmacy, but trucking is where it's at. Transportation is always a great way to make some good money. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely an option to make money if you don't choose college and all the other
Yeah, we're gonna get
ways.
into that because that's
Mm-hmm.
good. I'm glad you brought that out there
Mm-hmm.
like that. No, that's good, but we're gonna get into that. So go ahead, Val. Val is our youngest sister. She's the baby sister. She likes for people to remind her of that. Yeah, go ahead, Miss Baby. Oh, you have to unmute her, Sakina. I know.
Yeah, those babies are something else.
All right, I am unmuted. Yes, my name is
All right.
Valencia. I am the baby sister, aka the best sister. But I am in the field of social work. It's been about 10 years. And personally, I have 3 children. I love what I do. And I know my sister said we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's just a quick little snippet of who I am and what I do.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So we do have two other guests. Constance, I was waiting. Constance, we'll wait on you. When you get here, just let us know. Let me know. So we'll get you in here pretty good. So then, okay, let's start. So we're not actually. We have Star. Where's Star at? Star, where'd you
Hey,
go?
I'm here. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, cousin. I am Star Crawford. I am an entrepreneur. I started out as a janitorial service and now I own a staffing agency and we staff, thank you. We staff up to 40 people every single week. We have local contracts and government contracts. So that is my career choice at the time. And I started out, I always give and tip my hat to Miss LaShawn. I was working at a hospital. I'm a cook just by trade, and I've been in the military for 20 years. So I was in the military as a cook as well. And this cousin from California just came to Kansas City and said, "What are you doing? Come with me." And just like a disciple, I just dropped everything and followed this lady, and
Awesome.
we started a thrift store, and she made me an entrepreneur. So I always give honor where honor is due, flowers while you're still yet living. So I definitely credit her for awakening this beast in me that I didn't know that I had. So
It's a beast. Yes, she is. Star is beast mode. That's our cousin
absolutely.
in beast mode right there. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. But just for the purposes too of our industries. So, me and Rasha, we come from the federal sector. We will be just saying federal sector as opposed to, telling you exactly what agency we work for because we don't really want to, some things is just best left unsaid. So if you have another agency that you work, if you work for the county or you work for the state or whatever, you don't have to necessarily mention your job by name. You can't use another, you know, you can't call it something else. Like for us, it's definitely called the federal sector. So you'll hear us say the federal sector a lot. as opposed to just naming the exact agency. So, Rasha, I'm going to sit here and start with you. I know you are in management, um, where you work at. And so, um, tell us a little bit more about what you do in general. And then, can you kind of give us about three questions that people always want to know about what you do, even your employees that you have up underneath you? What are some things that they always just ask you?
Well, one of the things that I have to deal with is making sure the employees have their time in as management, making sure they're recording the right time. Also, that they are doing exactly what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. So it's kind of like I'm like a high class gopher. I'm checking on everything. I'm checking to see if you're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be. Reporting, what I need to report to my management. And one of the things that I'm really asked is, you said three questions for what we're asked. That's kind of a hard question. And how am I
Well, your
doing?
employees, do they all, I mean, like where you are, especially your new hires, right? Because
Right,
you're over a team of new hires. So, what is something your new hires are always asking you on a constant?
right. They want to know if they're how well they're doing. They want to get feedback, which is very important. I've also implemented, just meeting with them to see how they're feeling about it. How do you think you're doing? To allow them to make sure their voice is heard and that their concerns are being taken in consideration. Because when you're learning a new job, it takes a while for you to kind of get your legs. And so I want to give them encouragement to ask the questions. Number one, if you don't know, look it up. Don't make it up. Don't try to, tell people things that you're not sure about. Check with someone who has technical um expertise in that area. Check with someone that can help you. Don't just suffer in silence. So a lot of it is trying to coax them into making sure they feel comfortable to ask the questions if they need help, to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. And 9 times out of 10, you don't have to strive for perfection, just accept correction. So
Yeah.
I'm making sure that you're able to do it because it might change. And if it changes, okay, we have to go with the flow. So a lot of times working with the younger generation, they want to be on their phones. Well, we're not paying you to be on your phones. They're tired. We're not paying you to sleep. We're paying you to do a job. So right now, from 8 to 4:30, you're mine. After what you do before that, what you do after that, is up to you.
Your business.
So wait though, is that something they always ask you? Do your new hires say, "Hey, are we allowed to have our cell phones?" Or do they learn that in the orientation?
They're supposed to learn it during the orientation process, but it depends on if the trainers or the classroom instructors are really good about calling that to their attention. Say, hey, now, we're in class, we're
It,
trying to teach you
it's
this
fine. I see
information.
that it's under the radar though. I can't
Yeah.
because everyone uses their phone, right? I'm using my phone. Everyone's,
eh,
so if you don't literally like put the phone away from you, if you don't
Right.
hide it from yourself, you're gonna pick it back up. And I don't care where you at and what you're doing,
That's
right?
right. And
You
so
gotta pick up that phone.
out where we live, we have a train and it goes underground. It's called BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit. And so, one thing for the public safety, those train operators cannot have their phones at all on their person because it is this distraction. It takes away from your focus. So, with the job that I train new hires with, they have to be focused. They have to understand what is being asked or what information they have to research. And so, if they have a cell phone, if you're looking at your cell phone and someone's asking you a question, it's kind of like you should they're not even going to get the answer that they're looking for, and you're not going
Yeah.
to give the service that you should give
Then
them.
I'm gonna blame you and say you're a terrible manager and you don't listen. You
Right, and then
right?
And
They'll
I
say
didn't train them.
I'm a
I
terrible
didn't train
manager.
them to
She
get
didn't hear
it, and
nothing I
they're
said.
confused. They don't understand. Well, you need to. The best thing to do is to follow instructions. Number one, make sure you're reading the directions correctly and follow through. That's all we're really
Mhm.
asking, especially for
Okay, well, we're gonna
management.
come back. We gonna come back to that then. We gonna get all of your little manager, see what you actually be telling these people that work up under you, Rasha.
I'm serious because I want you to be present. I want you to be available, and I want you to be teachable. That's it.
Hey, you know what? When we're talking about this cell phone issue, reminds me of, remember when we were in the classroom and my Jackie, because what we discovered, y'all, is that the federal
We
government has a type, and you can find each and every last one of us in the next building. I'm talking about there is a me, there's a you, there's a her, there's
in
a her.
different states.
Yes, with different states. We're cookie cutter. Our
Yes.
personality types are cookie cutter in the federal government. That's what you learn. And so Rasha has a Jackie and I have a Jackie, and they are identical from the way they talk, think, and everything. And these are the resource coordinators, right? And so she had us in a room where these resource coordinators have a thing about food in the rooms where you're training. You ever think about it? So much so that her Miss Jackie had a do not eat sign every 2 feet.
Everywhere. This is unheard of everywhere.
No matter if it was to the right or to the left, there's a big giant sign that said no food. No this, no that,
no certain type of cups. And she was stopping people in the hallway before they even got into the training section. Oh no, you can't bring this in here. You can't put that in here. You can't bring this. Oh, you can't. You got to throw that away. You can't bring this in here. I was like, oh no.
wait, and she was so mad about it.
Did she say, Jackie? I know who she's talking about.
Story. Not only did she have a not eating sign in the front of the door, but when we closed it, where you think the other one was posted? Right on the back of it.
That's right.
Now that's funny.
Oh, she will send emails. She will send emails out. Let the emails flow.
It was crazy, y'all. But see, but I'm bringing that up to bring up that cell phone policy where we don't do that with the cell phone, right? There are not 99,000, posters that say no cell phone. You can't have your cell phone. There's only a word or mouth or a etiquette that you're supposed to know already. Right. It's supposed to be intrinsic, where you know how to use that cell phone. That's and where to put it, what time to talk on it, put it on mute. You're supposed to already know that. So when a person has to remind you about the cell phone policy, that's actually bad.
It's terrible.
It's not a good thing, y'all. I just want y'all to know that, because you're supposed to know about the cell phone policy on the strength. I mean, am I right, y'all, or is that a little out of pocket?
It's a generational thing. I think the younger generation, they gonna have their phone. You gotta know it, and you gonna have to tell them, and they gonna challenge you every time, every child. It don't matter. Right. It's a generational thing,
And it started with the parents, though. Honestly, the parents put the phone in front of the kids as babies, so naturally, I feel like they're gonna be addicted to the phone. So
they feel entitled to have a phone. Yes. So good luck. Good luck with the next generation.
If y'all don't mind, ladies. If y'all don't mind, can I intervene? Okay. Thank you. So all of y'all are managers, am I right?
Yes.
No, not everybody.
All right.
Well, I manage myself.
Okay.
Does that count?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah, we're gonna say that because all of y'all work for it. All of y'all are managers, supervisors, entrepreneurs, self-employed, what have you. And so the thing is, people are hard to manage. Can we agree?
Yes.
All right. So the thing is it's the policy that y'all are trying to enforce. And so, like GemiNile said, and y'all all agree, and y'all all are trying to mandate for the job, is that that you can have the phone, and you're trying to let them adhere to a certain degree because you're using your phone as well. Let's say that part, but don't say it. That you're trying to incorporate them using the phone, but not abusing the phone, right? And that's being human, right? But Everybody don't do that. They're abusing it.
No,
Right?
everybody knows. No.
Everybody's, and not everybody, but that's why we're not saying everybody. We're saying everybody, but not everybody. You see, so this is why the rules are set. Now, as a manager, right, every manager manages differently. That's why somebody put that memo on the door in the comings and goings. That's why she put it on both sides of the door, right? Because of their management skill. And all of y'all
No,
are
she did
different,
that to
right?
get everybody nerves, but whatever. I'm gonna let you have
No,
that one.
honestly, listen to me. I'm just being serious.
Do it.
Everybody
Not
has a different
because she has
management
this.
skill.
She
There
has
are dominant management
different
skills, and there are
managerial.
different dominant. There are different.
No.
There are lax and relaxed and dominant and other management skills, and so but the strongest one is going by the rules. And since y'all have a laxed phone policy, that's why. But if there was a policy where in other organizations where you couldn't use the phone at all, and that you had to have phones that emergency calls only could come through your office or through your job, meaning you had to turn your phone off, this would not happen at all. So again, it's on the manager. I'm not trying to take up for nobody. I'm just trying to tell the truth.
Yeah,
So
you trying to
again,
take up for
y'all
Miss Jackie. You trying to take up for Miss
No, I'm not taking
You
up for
trying to
Miss
take
Jackie. I'm
all I
taking
can
up for all y'all. No,
You
I'm
trying to
taking
take
up for
Miss
all
Jackie.
y'all. I'm taking up
Yeah,
for
I
all
agree with
y'all. So anytime one person is too lax, y'all letting it be too lax. So I'm just opening up your eyes
Well,
to
that's
that. You
okay,
see
but
what I'm
hold
saying?
on.
Because
No,
you,
no, no, no. Stay
anytime
right
you
there,
don't
though.
want to,
Stay right
you can
there.
say,
Stay right there.
listen.
Stay right there with that. It's too lax. No, it's not too
I
lax,
will.
right? Again, you're supposed to, because you can have your cell phone, but you're supposed to know when it's appropriate and when it's not appropriate. So in regardless to because you can have all the lax that you want to in a cell phone policy, but guess what? Everybody is going to have their phone near unless they're at a job, working in a job specifically that says no phones. But everybody else
No,
will
we're not
have that
saying
phone
that.
in their front
We're not
pocket,
saying that.
back
We're
pocket,
saying if you're doing more on
and
your
any other
phone than you
pocket.
doing at work, you got a problem. That's what
No,
we're
but we
saying.
no, what you're saying is lax though, and I'm saying we can't use that word a lax. The managers are lax because the managers are not lax. There really is
I didn't
no
say the
lax.
managers were lax.
What
I
you're
said your
supposed to do.
employee. I said
I
your
know. I take that
subordinates
back.
were lax. I didn't say the manager was lax. I said the subordinate were lax. And I said that
But
to
I'm saying the
say
word lax
that because
altogether. No, we're going to X that word lax altogether because it's not the fact that they're
okay, well,
lax.
that might be a
It's
poor
the
choice of
fact that
words.
sometimes, most people are going to be appropriate with a cell phone, especially in a meeting and any other place
That's a
there's
poor
large
choice of
groups of
words. I'll
people.
take
Yeah,
that back.
people are going to primarily. You may only have to talk to a couple people, one or two.
But I also
And
think that just
Okay.
depends on the generation, right? Because when you're talking about our Gen Z, like I supervise 17 Gen Zs, they are going to push it to the limit. They are going to test all waters. You can say a million times, no cell phone policy, but like Sakina said, if you're a lax supervisor and you're not saying anything, they're going to keep testing the waters and keep being on their phones.
It's not necessarily
They don't come with that.
So I'm not.
I feel like they
So
don't come
lax
with
might
that.
be a poor choice of words. But let's use a better choice of words. So I don't want to say lax, okay? But let's use a better choice of words if you want to. But again,
the
they're taking
opposite of lax is
advantage
going to
of
have
it.
to be enforced, and so we're not enforcing. This is what This is the etiquette that people are supposed to know about cell phones. They're supposed to be intrinsic. However, sometimes it can. It's been a long time since a cell phone has caused havoc because they have relaxed the policy. Used to be a time when they were enforcing, and guess what? When you got 20 people getting up, walking out of the room because they all have to deal with their cell phone, you learn how to keep a crowd and say, okay, can you please just mute your phones at the very least?
Right. There you go.
There
you go.
Right?
But I think it's changing.
Because if you sit with 20 or more people and you take on that battle, well, then you're gonna lose the food battle because they're gonna be eating. Like
Yes.
you're gonna spend 50% or at least 25% of your class or whatever orientation that you're dealing with, trying to ask people to abide by the policy. Oh, can you please walk this straight line over here? And now we're in the new hallway. It's a wiggly line over there. And please do this. And please, like you said, you're gonna deal with 20 people that's gonna get up, walk out the room,
Right.
because you said
Yeah.
no cell phones in here, but you didn't say I can't go to the bathroom 20 times and answer
That's
my
right.
phone, which I'm
And use
sneaking
the
on
cell
the
phone
phone
and disrupt
anyway.
everybody in the process. Yes.
Yep. So by
That's
the
what
time you do
happens,
that,
right? I mean, people are so disruptive. I swear. And the way that they say "excuse me" is so loud. It's louder than the cell phone. It's like I almost wanted you to talk on your phone than to be getting up, talking about "excuse me, excuse me."
But it's interesting because the courtesy of the cell phone etiquette is becoming less and less and less with the newer generations because like Callie Chick said, phones are being introduced to them at newborns, right? We have elementary students who are in first grade, kindergarten that already have cell phones, so it's like I'm supervising these new interns and they're on their phones, they're wearing crop tops. When has that ever been professional?
I
Mm.
know,
That is
right
not
now you're getting into a
professional.
whole nother
That's a
subject.
whole nother subject.
Oh,
That's
Val.
right.
Oh,
And
Val, you
dress.
got a good point though, but because actually, if they come to my office, we're sitting there going, "Okay, get your cell phone out." That they text the code to your phone, so now we now require you can't even finish the doggone application
Without a
anymore,
cell
or
phone.
you can't finish class, or you can't finish it. It sent a link to your email. Well, how am I supposed to check my email? Oh, log
when
into
I'm
your email from
Oh,
this computer over here, but you need your phone in order to do it. And so now don't you dare go to Gmail and get a different computer and think you can log into your Gmail because now you need your cell phone and you got to push the
Verify.
link and do a verification and give blood and your firstborn. And so, yeah, now you need your phone,
oh
and the
man,
company can't take your phone from you because they need you to have your phone too, because it's
And
in the your phone.
I
yes,
was gonna say our company actually pays us $1 a week to use our cell phones because they know that they're relying on our cell phones for us to do our job, being in the trucking field, which is really
Yeah,
crazy.
and let you not have a cell
They don't
phone.
provide us no map, quest, no nothing. So everything we do is actually on our phone. So you want me to bring my phone, use it for work, and then don't use it for myself? Like that
Use
don't.
all your apps, by the way, that you already subscribe to, that is not through the work email. And thank you for using all your apps. Thank
Right.
yes.
Yeah, I think they give us $1.
She gets $4 a month, y'all, to use
Yes,
the cell
they
phone.
literally
You
pay
even
us
catch
$1
that? Like really?
every week, and I think that's kind of to save them to say that they're paying into or paying for us to use. So I politely be like, listen, I've already used $1 worth of gigs on my phone. I will not be opening up anything. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, that's wild, y'all. That's my
$1 is that.
yes. You know what? Okay, so you know what, Cece, you're talking. So why don't you keep it rolling? What is tell us a little bit about your industry and what are three things people are always asking you or dying to know about this industry? And I want you to wait a minute, touch on a little bit about how so many people, why do so many people think that the trucking industry is attractive? Right? There's so many people who drive trucks. I mean, like, what is the appeal about this industry, and what are some of the things people always want to know when you tell them you drive trucks?
Well, I think the truth is that you can make a decent living, like I said, with no education. So you can make a lot of money here. So to everyone else, it looks like, oh my God, you're a truck driver, you make so much money, but they don't understand how much time you had to exchange for that money. So when you factor in all the time, 12, 14 hours a day, you're not with your family. If you're at home, you're probably sleeping, So yes, it appears that you're making so much money. However, what are we doing when I have to spend so much time for it? Am I really making the money that it looks like to everybody else when most truckers are away from their families for 3 weeks at a time? If you're over the road, you barely see that person who is sending home the money or being the provider for the family. So is it really a lot of money when you're sacrificing the presence of that person actually being home? You know, so I think that's kind of the misconception for people when it comes down to trucking. But you can get it though. You can get it. You for sure get it. It look good on paper.
You know what? I want to ask you, what made you think about getting into trucking?
Like I said, I was already into transportation. I'm definitely a driver. I started driving school buses at 18.
Okay.
So it went from school busing to city busing to COVID hit. And I
Right.
was at that time, I was doing trade show decorating with the union. And when
Awesome.
they closed everything down, I was like, oh, well,
What
trucking
am I
is,
gonna do?
yeah. So
Okay.
in my mind, I was training myself so that when this was over, I can go back and literally just pick up the union as a truck driver. That didn't work that way either. But when I say we had all the loads of toilet paper and water and everything else that they claim we didn't have, that's all I drove
Come on.
during COVID. Okay, so
Wow.
that was pretty interesting too, because at the same time, you know, people complain about truckers. However,
Right.
we order so many different things online. We literally move the world, and for that, I feel underpaid, no matter what it
Yes,
looks like.
I agree.
You know, so that's the hard part. And then you have people who be like, "Oh, can I use the restroom?" And they redirect you to a porta potty. Especially like being a woman out here, you know, a
Yeah.
porta potty. They love to send you to a porta potty, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm a human. I requested a restroom, not a porta potty." So it can get really interesting out here. But if you don't mind like being alone and you can handle like yourself because you your own company, then I mean I enjoy it for the sunset,
Nice.
sunrises, the places I get to go, the things I get to see. Like I really enjoy being outside on the truck. But if I had a family or a small family, it's definitely a no for me.
So when it comes to bills and the partner that you have back at home, how does that work? You have to have some type of trust to make sure they're doing everything they're supposed to do, because you can't take care of everything while you're on the road.
Well, the good part for me is just me.
Oh, okay.
My son is 27, he's almost 28. So I don't have anybody else to really worry about when I'm out here on the road. It's just me.
That's good.
You know, I literally packed everything up, got rid of the apartment, temporarily moved into my mom's house, and I'm still there. But I temporarily moved there and was like, I'm out. It's COVID. What do I have to lose? It was more turned into like an empty nester thing for me because my son was grown at the time. And with the house being so empty, I was like, oh my God, I gotta go. So for me, I kind of started, yes, it was COVID as well as like an empty nester thing that happened to me.
Wow, that's amazing.
She said a
Amazing.
whole empty nester, y'all. Don't forget that.
I
Like she
know,
didn't
I
even
feel so
old
young
enough
for
to be an
saying
empty
that.
nester. Yeah, you know,
I do
old
feel
enough to have
young.
a child at home.
Listen,
To
when
be a
you ain't got
whole
nobody
empty
else at
nester.
Okay, so
home, you
can
like,
I ask a
who
question?
am I? You know?
Yeah.
What do I like to do
What am I
now?
doing?
You
Look, can I
realize
ask
that
a
you
question
really
now?
be a mom,
Right.
and like back in the day, it wasn't a mom and be yourself too. It was like you either were just a mom, you had kids, and your life was over. You know, when you had kids, it was no longer like about you
Done.
at all. So I didn't take the road of like being a mom and being myself. So when my son left, I was like, what in the heck am I supposed to do now?
Wow. Sakina had a question.
Oh, go ahead. Sakina?
Okay, so traveling the road as a female, and I know the adventure is wonderful, right? However, traveling as a female, the competition, how is
Well,
that part? Because I know they're giving it to you as a sister when it comes to some of these problems, maybe a blowout, maybe you see what I'm saying? When it comes to
yeah.
that,
Like
because I know
emergency.
that competitive part, I know they like you can handle it. Wait on your assistants. You can handle it. Change it yourself. You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah,
How
well,
is
when it
that
comes
part?
down to like that kind of stuff, it's not like driving a car. You're not going to call a tow truck. You're going to call a company. So you're never going to be like changing your own
Okay.
tires. You're always going to have a company to come in and do that for you. So when it comes down to that, no. There are some men who watch me struggle opening a door or cranking a trailer, some things like that, because they'd be like, oh, you wanted the job, you handle it. You know, I've had men get out and go out of their way. Now I got 5 men trying to help me, you know, get this thing moving, you know, so it can go either way. But it's really just, I guess, how you handle it or your attitude. But At first, I thought it would be scary going over the road, but I was over the road for a year by myself and it was fun. I never really had any issues. All of the things I thought it was going to be, none of that.
Okay,
You
good.
know, everybody else were pretty helpful. You know, I think that they were like,
know,
"Oh,
right?
you're the one."
It changed your life too. Oh, Sakina, can you unmute everybody? That's what we keep telling y'all. Listen, I don't know why the button defaulted back not to let y'all unmute yourselves. Let me look at it again and see what is going on with this mute button. I mean, goodness gracious.
Okay,
First it let y'all,
let me fix
and then it just defaulted right back. So I don't know.
No, I think
Y'all
they have
may
an option
Okay.
to actually mute themselves. But yeah, so being out on the road wasn't
Okay,
bad.
let me do that.
I'm not a very cold person, so when I ain't going in the snow, I'll take a mountain. But yeah, I
So
didn't end up in any snow or
the
anything like that.
furthest place that you went in distance
So,
wise, and then what's the best manicured state, or what state did you like to drive through the best?
well, being from Cali, you fly everywhere, right? I've never driven through states. So driving through states and actually seeing greenery was like, what? These trees are huge. Oh, what this lake is. So I was having like a fun scenic trip every time I went somewhere. So I did what was called 11 Western. So it was like pretty much everything left of Texas. So we're talking Wyoming, Utah, Colorado,
All
Washington.
those mountains. Oh wow.
Yeah, all the
Mountains,
mountains.
hills, trees.
Yes,
lakes.
loved it.
Beautiful.
Washington and Oregon, probably for me because it was the greenest. And I wasn't used to seeing green. So I seen some trees that were just like so huge, mountains. I seen a bear in Colorado.
I'm sorry, let me say this real quick. I'm gonna shut up. Can you tell them, don't you see signs aside of the mountain that say be careful or beware of falling rocks?
Yeah, I mean that's for your cars too. I mean, that's going up to Big Bear, you're gonna see that. But yeah. Have I ever seen a rock on the road? No.
That's all I wanted to say. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of signs out here.
I have a question too, though, because
I just want people to understand that, because when I was trying to explain it on another panel,
someone said that they didn't see falling rocks.
No, I'm
well,
done.
once
Go
you
ahead,
go to like cliffs and different places like that, I mean, the earth is always shifting. So you always got a possibility, even in your car, when you're driving through Utah and through all those mountains, you know, there's always possibilities of falling rocks. And if you pay attention to the signs, they're always everywhere. I mean, when I got to Texas and it was like, turn around, don't drown. I'm like, what did I just go through? You know? So with that being said, like, yeah, for me, I wasn't scary, but I'm a driver. So I've always been a driver. So it wasn't nothing new.
She's not lying. She's a driver. This is the same sister who taught me how to drive when she was 13.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to drive, but I understood the concept.
Yeah,
I can teach somebody how to drive a stick.
Wait a minute. I'm not even done yet. And the car wasn't even an automatic. It was a stick.
Yeah.
She taught me how to drive a stick. My first car when she was 13.
Yep, she taught me how to drive a stick too. My first car was a stick.
Oh wow.
Yeah. She's a driver. I mean, like from birth, right? She'd be on it like she's a little kid. She would be literally when we would be on the highway, on the freeway back home, be like, okay, that's a 1988 Chevy. That's a 1964 Camry. That's a 19 da 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 da. And we would say, how do you know that? And she would say, by the lights. Don't y'all know?
Awesome.
All you have to do is just look at the lights. It tell you the year of the car.
Yeah. Listen, at one point she had me wanting an old school car.
I heard that.
I didn't even know y'all when I was younger, but my first car was a stick shift as well.
Oh wow.
I stuck in all the stop signs.
Listen. Yeah. So
never.
So I have a question for you.
Huh?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So how do you feel about being a woman in a predominantly male industry?
Yeah.
Well, I must say that at first I didn't drive a truck because I thought it was something only men could do, right? It was so hard. It looked very intimidating, right? Everything is so tall, big. I mean, I'm lifting over my hands a lot of the time just to close the doors. But once I actually did it, it wasn't bad at all. You know, if you're not scared of being the biggest vehicle on the road, like that's probably the most intimidating part for me, anyways. But being a driver, I understand that that's different because you got some people who can't even back their car up, where I can parallel park a truck. You know what I mean? So,
That's deep.
um,
That's deep.
That's
I
That's
will
deep,
awesome.
y'all.
parallel
I
Wow.
ain't even
park
gonna
and
lie.
be
That's deep.
18 inches within the curve. You hear me?
Come on,
But I
girl.
also enjoy like all the angles.
Who
It is.
parallel parking a truck?
You're right.
I
It
tell my
is.
sister all the time, I'm a curb killer.
Me too.
Like
I'll knock
curb
that curve
killer.
out. Be having skid marks on it.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
But
But
my
I
look, I
love
God,
don't mess
that's
up
angles.
my
nice.
rims.
That's
I don't mess up my
nice.
rims no more. I don't do
I'm
That
like,
that
for
no
me, it's
more.
more
wow.
than trucking though, because I
Right.
love the angles of the truck. I
Really?
love like getting it into spaces that look impossible. Oh my God.
Wow.
Warehouses that were built before they were 53 feet, trailers and things like that. So for me, it's kind of an art to driving. I don't really care. The job is cool, but like when I'm in the truck, I'm like, ooh, how am I gonna do that? You know, it's so challenging for me when I pull up in warehouses and I'm like, or people be like, "Oh, you going over there? It's tight." And I'm like, "Y'all call this tight? Like, what the heck?" You know.
Just learn how
For me, I enjoy driving, so
that's
it's not
amazing.
as bad as it probably would be for someone else that
Yeah,
may
you
not.
are definitely a driver. I'm sorry, Rasha. I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
you're
Go
good.
ahead.
You're good. I was gonna say when
Okay.
we would go cross country to from California through Arizona, New Mexico,
Mm.
Texas, Louisiana, all the way to Mississippi. It was a wonderful scenic route. I mean, we see all of the seasons pretty much, the desert, everything. And then when we got back to California, everything looked sparkling brand new. Have you had that?
Well,
Like
I've had
everything
it like, oh my God, I
new.
can't be. Well, it because you know what, being from the city, it's really like you get used to all that fast pace. You get used to the
Mhm.
cultures of the people. You get used to those type of things. So that is what I miss. You know, you miss all the excitement. Somebody trying to clean your windshield wipers, or maybe even trying to pump your
Right.
gas because it's cold outside. You like, where they at?
Different.
You know.
It's different.
So it for me is it's the culture I be missing of growing up in the city or growing up LA. I don't know about, too many other cities, but our city is so rich with culture that that's the part that I miss
Yeah.
when I'm
Yeah.
away.
It's fast
Mm-hmm.
paced. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what, Val? Let's move it on. Let's move right on, Val. I know you saying. I heard you say social work, but is social work and the counseling that you do at the colleges is that does that go hand in hand? How is that? How does that work?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why I chose social work for my career path is because it's so diverse. So the goal is of anything social work, the goal is service, right? Helping people. But it just looks different at each job, right? So yes, I work for the college. At the college, I'm teaching. And also, since I graduate, I teach, I'm a professor at a community college. So I teach part-time. And this community college that I teach at, I actually kind of found myself there. I had a teacher, he was teaching a social work class, and I was like, what is this stuff? And, he's like, oh, it's a whole career. And I'm like, so you're telling me that I can get paid to help people, something I already naturally do because I feel like I come from a family of helpers. So even when Star's talking, I'm like, I'm not surprised. When my sisters are talking, I'm like, we're all helpers at the end of the day. So once
yes.
I realized that, that there was a career for social work and I could get paid to for helping people, I was like, oh, well, sign me up. That's easy peasy. So at the college, I not only teach, my college courses, but I teach at the college that I graduate, the community college. That's the important piece, right? Because I didn't graduate high school and go straight to a 4-year university. I graduated high school, had a baby, and then I decided I wanted to go to community college. So I teach at that same community college. And so part of what else I do is I mentor. So anytime any students have any questions or they want to know more about the field of social work, I'm like, yep, I'll squeeze you in. We can Zoom, whatever information you want to know. I got you because that's, I have professors who help put that light in me. They seen something that I didn't even see in myself. I went to college saying like, okay, I just had a baby, I'm pregnant again. I probably should get a certificate or something so I could make a little bit more money so that I could be self-sufficient to, take care of my children. And then long and behold, my mentor, he's like, no, you're gonna get your master's degree. And I was looking at him like, boy, I don't even know what a master's degree is. I don't know which one come first. Is it a bachelor's? Is it a master's? Is it an associate's? I don't know.
You had a popping mentor too, though. By the way, she was popping.
Yeah, I had two. Yeah, my other mentor, she fine, she fly.
She
That
fine.
lady,
Yeah,
she
she
is,
fine.
yes.
So,
um,
Valencia, or you want, may I call you
okay,
Val, or is it okay?
that was perfect.
Um, so when you went to school, did you select a mentor or was one provided for you?
You know what? Neither. I'm a
Speak on
go-getter.
that.
So what
All
happened
right.
was I said, I like this professor.
Okay.
And so then I started asking questions. And then when your professors have after hours, you go to the after hours, you ask questions, you ask about the field. I was just hungry for information.
Yes.
Same
Yeah,
thing with my counselor. She
yeah,
Mhm.
ended up becoming my mentor. And it was the same thing. I'm asking questions, I'm showing interest, I'm passionate about it. I'm learning different things. I'm hungry. Teach me more, tell me more. And so then the natural mentorship, partnership just began. It just formed
yeah,
naturally. But it
That's
would
yeah,
be
amazing.
nice
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
to assign mentors, but then sometimes when you assign mentors, if there's no connection there, then you're really
Doesn't
not going
work
to
out.
get anything that, could be beneficial for you.
Testify.
mhm,
So
Mhm.
mhm,
that's amazing because I see how organic it was for you to just go in. You're asking questions. They're like, okay, this young lady's serious. She wants to
Mhm.
do something. Okay, let me see how I can help her. And so
Yes.
that's something that a lot of people are kind of shy, but you can get over your shyness and just ask the question. And so that's what I'm trying to do with my new hires. Ask the questions. You don't know all
Mhm.
the answers to the questions. You already know that you need help. Just ask questions and don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what
Well,
I tell
speaking
my
of questions,
students.
though, what is something that they always ask you, Val? What are three things people always? Because what I find most interesting about you is that you actually have a degree and you work in the field of study. What is
Yes. That's
going on? How did
amazing.
that happen? Because that's unheard of. Because
The
people will sit
mentorship
there and graduate from science and then go work at
and
a car dealership. Come on,
Yeah.
talk about
yes.
it.
See, I think, you know what, if I'm being honest, I think a lot of it is direction and then also passion. So when I say direction, I feel like a lot of times, our young students, they graduate from high school thinking that they need to choose something that maybe they're good at, but they don't absolutely love, right? Or maybe something that their family wants them to do, but they don't absolutely love. So then they get these degrees, and then they find themselves working somewhere else because they enjoy that something else.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And so for me, I was fortunate to find something that I wasn't even looking for it,
It
okay?
it
But
just
I was
found you.
fortunate to find something that
Yes.
I actually really love. And when you really love something and you really want to do it, you're going to go and get it. And so for me, finding a job in social work has never been an issue because I know what I want to do. And so I know, and then with help, right? With mentorship, you
Mhm.
know, my mentors helped me kind of identify, they was like, I feel like you would be a good fit in this area. And then I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, well, you know what? That's something. Let me look into it. And with this field, since it's so diverse, you can kind of jump around from place to place to place until you find your niche.
Mhm.
So I've done
that's
a
good.
I've done a few different things, and then now, my niche is
Found it.
is teaching. It doesn't even feel like work.
Mhm.
Teaching, I could you could give me a class right now and be like, Valencia, I need you to teach. I'd be like, let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
You
That's
You
know.
know what?
amazing.
You know what, y'all? Because she's currently counseling my daughter. Who is getting ready to transfer to a 4 year, and and my daughter will go to Val first before she even comes, to me. She's like, so Val is really good when it comes to, getting the young people really thinking about their career choices. That's something that, my counselor didn't look like Val. I'm gonna just keep it 100, right? My counselor was
Mhm.
99,000 years old, looking like a
Yeah.
mummy from a tomb off a black and white TV. So I didn't have a popping counselor, and my counselor wasn't hitting on 2 cents. So these days, these kids are really blessed to have school counselors who look more like them, who understand more
Mm-hmm.
like them, who are
Mm-hmm.
on the same page as them.
Mhm.
This is, I mean, these kids complain about a lot of things, but they don't really know how good they have it. This is
Mm-hmm.
one of the best times right now to be a young person ever in life. I
That's
thought it was
true.
popping when we were young, but no, these children that we have raised, given birth to,
Mhm.
and are raising, no,
Mm-hmm.
they're living in what they call the golden age, right? Everybody and everything is so easily and readily at their
Yeah.
disposal,
Yes.
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know.
That's
And
what I
so
tell my
this
high
is a,
school students.
yeah, can you imagine to have a pretty girl looking like this for your counselor talking about, ooh, you know, hey, I guess I'm changing my major. You want to see her again? So I guess I'm changing my major again.
Yeah, I also work with high school students as well. That's like my full-time job. And I tell them, my biggest thing, the reason why I feel like I connect with so many youth and just adults in general, so my youth and adults, is because I keep it real, straight up. I keep my personality is who I am. I'm very professional, but I'm also very real at the table as well. And I
Mhm.
don't mind being myself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whose table I'm sitting. I could be sitting at the table with our president Barack Obama, and I'm still going to be my genuine self
Mhm.
because in this
Yeah,
field of social work, you have to be genuine, not only with your clients, but you have to be genuine with yourself because we take people's problems, right? Like we are the ones that are working with your worst days. On your worst days, you go to your therapist. On your worst days, you go
Mhm.
to your social work, depending on, what field, right? You're not gonna go to your
Yeah.
CPS worker and on your worst days, right? But we take, the problems of, people's daily lives. So we gotta keep it real. You gotta keep it real with yourself and you gotta keep it real with others. And I think that's why I connect so well with the youth. And that's why my niece calls me all the time because I'm gonna give it to her raw and real. And like one of you mentioned earlier, if you don't know the answer, I think it was you, Rasha, don't make it up. That's what I
Mhm.
teach my students all the time. We don't make up answers around here. We
Mhm.
we say, okay, you know what? I don't have the answer to that. Give me a second. Let me find out and I'll get back to you. And then that follow through is so important. You
Yes.
to follow through. Because if you're working
Mm-hmm.
with children, if you don't follow through with something you said, then they don't trust you. And if
yeah,
they don't trust you, they're not going to work with you. And then you can't
fact,
connect with them.
yeah,
Right. And
fact.
I know there's a lot of people that are willing to share their expertise and to give their knowledge to the youth, but it's really hard to find youth that really want to learn a specific trade or some type of industry where they can actually go into construction, or maybe they want to go into plumbing. There's people out there that are willing to show them how to do it, but they're not able to find the
It's
youth
the
that are willing to
connection.
do it.
Yeah,
That's
you
true.
got to
You're
make the
right.
connection. You got to
Yeah.
bridge the gap. And if there's no one
Yeah.
bridging the gap, then you're never going to get
Yes,
that
But
information.
gotta
but you
bridge the
got a
gap.
good
Yeah,
point too, though, LaShawn and Val. You look like them. My
Mhm.
counselors, my advisors, they wore Dr. Scholl's shoes and skirts to their
exactly.
Hey, those are
ankles,
comfortable.
and then
Seriously.
did you
About it.
ever see one that could talk like, walk like you? On
Mhm.
your worst day, you had to go to somebody
Yes,
who you did not relate to.
Mm-hmm.
And so your image growing up of success or someone with a
Absolutely.
degree was
that's
always
right.
somebody who did not look like you.
Absolutely.
And
Hmm.
they may have even withheld the best of the
You're
best
right.
information
Mhm.
from someone
By
who looked like
design.
you. And so who could we go to other than, someone who didn't look like us, didn't talk like
Right.
us, wasn't from
Didn't
Mm-hmm.
where
want us to
we
have
from,
it.
Didn't
and
want
not
us to have
dealing
it.
with the problems, can't relate, ain't got no
Right.
family that talk like, walk like, dealt with things like us. So
Mhm.
imagine how much different life woulda, shoulda, coulda been
Yes.
if you had the
Facts.
opportunity as a youth to get advice, even just career advice from someone
Yes.
who looked like you, talked
Mm-hmm.
like you, and to know that it was even a possible thing. I tell you, for me growing up, the rumored person of the mirror of success in my family was you all's mother, right? She was the person of success, the one that went to California and
Girl,
made it
you
big.
are
That's
her
all
real
I knew.
daughter. You
Yeah,
look
That
like
was
her,
the
talk
come on
like
out
that
her,
this
was
way,
the
sound
y'all.
like her.
narrative that she just
Yeah.
was She made
Go
it big
west.
in California. So that's all I knew is that, hey, I got an aunt somewhere that's doing it big in
Yeah,
Cali.
Lawanda. Yeah, Lawanda. She is the
Luanda,
matriarch,
yeah.
right? She's the
Yeah.
matriarch, right? So it's like,
Yes.
she is the glue that keeps the family, together in a corporate kind of way. So also what I said, all of us, because we grew up nothing but with corporate, oh my God, depending on what age we were at is what stage she was at. Lord have mercy. You grew up and you got this knowledge and information that, trust me, you can't make this stuff up. But
Yeah, that woman is a true entrepreneur. True
she's a true
entrepreneur.
entrepreneur.
Right.
Yeah, my
True.
mother is a true
Through
entrepreneur.
and through.
Facts. Yeah, through and through. But
Mhm.
Star, go ahead. Since you led last, let us know what you do in your industry. Give us something that people always ask all the time, and also tie that into workforce development, because you're like, hey, like I have contracts in the federal sector and with the county sector, with the janitorial aid, with the
Yes.
staffing agency. But hold
Yes.
up, you got more
Right.
than
I
that.
got a
You have a
position for
staffing
you.
agency
Yes.
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 that
Yes.
is in partnership with workforce development.
Yes.
Girl, that's
Come
what you
on
Yes.
did
with it.
out here, dog.
So it's pretty awesome. I'm at the heart of workforce development. We started out as a janitorial service, me and my husband. And so I would meet other contractors, right, that own janitorial services. And, everyone's, biggest question in that particular industry was, it's hard to find good people, right? That's the managers, biggest questions. That's the conversations among managers, business owners, self-employed people. Is it's hard to find good people or help. That's like the biggest question, biggest, you know. And so, one day I found myself with more help than I had contracts, and I started, turning people away, saying, "Hey, I don't have any more work."
Mm.
But let me make a few phone calls to some good contractors that I know, and they may be able to employ you. So
And
I found
there's
myself being a go-between just naturally of saying, hey, you said you didn't have anyone. I know some people who need more work. And so, from here I am in the middle, I'm talking to other contractors and business owners. And then I'm also talking to, just general employees who want to make more money. Like you said before, LaShawn, people are just trying to figure out what kind of work-life balance I can create for myself to make more money and still be available in my natural life. And so, there's this thing we call post-COVID and pre-COVID, right? The industry, as far as workforce development, pre-COVID, it was just, the typical, you post a job, people are looking for work, and they work because they have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Post-COVID, that industry changed big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that as the world was forced to slow down and in some instances stop
Right.
completely and
Reflect.
make us,
Correct verbiage. They
you
had the
said
world forced to stop and
deflect,
reflect. Yes.
reflect. There you go. And so I believe that a lot of people, just everyone, just discovered that life is important. The quality of life is important, and it's about more than just money. And so
Yes.
now, when the world was allowed to go back to work, many people did not. Many people chose not to because there was this, self-awareness that life is about more than just money and the daily hustle and bustle. And I believe that people discovered, right, the more ways to survive other than just making
There you go.
cash money. And there was this survival in an entire industry. And so then the chatter was among managers, I can't find good help. Nobody wants to work. Well, that's not the truth. Here's what I discovered. And you said the one question that that people always ask me is, what are the attendance policies, right? Because people need a good work-life balance. If you, I was actually a contractor at a university, Val, and so that attendance policy for an entire campus does not fit every single industry and every single employee because people are sick. People have family members that are sick. School policies, they would have to leave their jobs and go pick up their kids if one person in a classroom of 30 had COVID or tested positive for COVID. And that would be at 12 in the afternoon. And there would be a lot. And so people would have to leave their jobs. And then I got managers calling saying, well, this person had to leave work. Do you have more people? And then, oh, well, they can't come back to work for 2 weeks. Then we have to terminate them. And then I was trying to explain that if you don't adjust your policies, if you don't change your policies, then you're never going to have anybody.
You're not going to have a workforce. Who's going to be there to work?
Yeah, because
we don't have to sit here and change the laws and say let them babies work because these grown folks change the laws, y'all. Change the laws.
There you go. Change the policies and let people work. And so, and I would have to explain this. LaShawn, you was talking about generations and different types of people. So you got your old school managers that I'm like, hey, if you don't start hiring and letting people work and just have an open attendance, then you're not going to have a workforce, and you're always going to have this problem. And there's nothing that I or anyone else can do. They would want to blame me or blame them or blame the entire generation.
Listen to that. You know what? Our in the federal sector, they listen to that. That's why we have telework and remote telework to this day, right? Because we had a terrible telework policy. They didn't want to let nobody go home. But then after that, and they know they needed the workforce to remain intact, they said, you know what? To hell with it. We're jumping in on that too. And plus, they were paying people, right? They're getting some sort of side cut for allowing people to remotely work from home. But then you started seeing nothing but remote jobs for a little while. Now they pulled back on some, but they have kept it all in place for a rainy day, just in case we get another virus or something happens again. Then they'll go straight into that remote teleworking policy. Now,
and you're right, Star.
Rasha works from home for a few days. Star, I don't know. Do you allow your employees to work from home? Or what do you do?
We have a few work from home positions, honestly, that is 100% work from home. They wanted these, particular customer service reps to be in the same city. But I'm just like, hey, then you need to hire a staffing agency in your same city. Now you don't have one. I'm not even in your city. So how does that look? You got to change your policies. You got to make adjustments. And so, the workforce and the development of the new post-COVID workforce, you just got to change policies in order to have a workforce, because economically you're stifling your entire industry. You're stifling your department. You're stifling yourself. You're trying to force it to be pre-COVID, and it's not like that. People have to have a balance.
You're not being very fluid or flexible when you have industries that are so rigid, right?
Yeah. It's not even just the workforce, like the schools had to change, right? So before COVID, our department that I teach at the college, we never had online classes, right? COVID happened. Now we have online classes. And even though we're post-COVID, we still have online classes for the first time. And our online classes are actually thriving. And then with our school district, now we have a bigger online school because online is still in high demand, even post-COVID.
Online community, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I will say for us, it created a deep isolation of it almost alienated us as drivers who need to deliver the goods, right?
Mhm.
It was, oh, well, we don't know if we can talk to you. We don't know if we can get the paper from you. We don't know what we can do. And if we were sick, they literally let us sit on the truck for 2 weeks because we're by ourselves, right? So you think when COVID hit and when things were happening, they wanted you to be by yourself. So it was a very, like, we had people on the side of the road making food, giving us foods, because you know what they did? They shut down all the gas stations. They cut off all the fountain drinks. They literally, I mean, there was only Love's truck stop who was like, you know what? We're going to put one worker behind there to serve you guys. But you got to
Mm.
think, like, literally, COVID took us and just threw us out there and was like, keep delivering. We
Yeah.
didn't know how we was
Yeah.
gonna get a restroom. We didn't know how we was gonna get food. We didn't know how we was doing anything. Like, it was so crazy to be
Mm.
out there in a time where it thrived in other places, but for us, the isolation is still there. When they brought those porta potties in, those porta potties still exist. They
Mm.
still send us the porta potties as if we're in a COVID phase, because that introduced them to a new way of saying, oh, they don't have to come in to use the restroom.
Wow.
Oh, the rest, it's around the corner for you.
Oh, oh
So
no.
it's just so strange
There
how
it
it's
is.
like, looking at it from you guys' perspective, it's
Mhm.
great. But me as a trucker, out there over the road, making sure that America still runs, have got the shittiest service. Couldn't get a restroom at a gas station. I mean, listen, anything that you can think of that was closed for you guys was us over the road, not getting any services, except for people, like I said, that stood on the side of the road who made food in their homes to pass out for us, as we went down certain streets or certain highways. It literally, and then we had to trust the food that we was eating.
Right.
It wasn't even just like, damn, it wasn't nothing to eat. Like, and then they were like, oh, the
I was
inside
just
is
about to
closed. You have
say
to go
that.
through
I
a
was like, wait a
drive-through.
minute, let me eat these cookies and chips, but I gotta test your sandwich.
Right? But you got to think, so all the drive-throughs were open, but the dine-in was still closed, right? So
Can't
we
drive
had
a
to
truck
literally
through.
walk through drive-through and hope that they would
Look,
serve
and you
us
can
through the
get that big
drive-through
rig through
window.
drive
Like,
through.
people don't understand, like, what we had to do, and
Right.
we're talking about being of service, to continue to have a mindset to want to serve and continue the goods going across the United States, regardless of what was happening.
Mm.
So COVID was crazy. It was very strange.
Yeah, it was
Um,
definitely
it was
crazy.
strange for us as truckers. Very different for
Right.
everybody else, because they
Freya.
got to stay at home. They got to do all these different things. But the road was very strange because people didn't
Right.
know how to treat you, because they still had to figure out, we have to communicate with these people. How do we come in contact with a person during COVID? Where's your
Yeah.
mask? I mean, this one lady, I walked into a warehouse and I didn't see anybody. She screamed and lost it. I said, oh, this is crazy. I've never had anybody treat me so crappy.
What was her
But,
problem?
it made
What was
everybody, I walked, she was like, you're not supposed to be in here. And I'm
Fear.
like, girl, like, seriously.
Fear.
It was crazy, the amount of people that were scared to be within 6 feet of the next person.
Mhm.
You know
So
what I'm
you were
saying?
out
So
there. You were out there in those sticks. So how long, Cece? Before we introduce our next guest, Drea, how long were you? How long did it take back for the trucks to get back in a good groove, so that people can get their goods and
well, the
things
one
like
thing
that?
is, if you notice, the truckers were the only things on the road. I mean, everything was shut down, but those trucks, I mean, the police was giving us full range to just be out here. We
Mm.
made deliveries. We never stopped delivering. Can you imagine if we stopped delivering to stores? Those stores were still getting supplies. So we as truckers never stopped running. It never stopped
Yeah.
running. And a lot
Oh,
of
that
people
is
made the
so
most money.
interesting.
Yeah, they
During
made
the
the most
pandemic.
money ever, because when you think about no traffic, it was easy to get
Right.
everywhere. A lot of people, was more supply and demand type of deal. So all the rates were like over exaggerated. Like, a lot of people made a lot of money during COVID. But what happened is now the market is oversaturated. And
Wow.
now we got so many truckers. Now we can just bid this out for the cheapest
Yeah, but
run.
okay, so that's, you didn't never answer that question though. So what is the appeal though? What is the appeal? That industry is so large. I mean, like, even in our collective, like, every three to five people is a truck driver. We see so many, people who drive over the road. It's not even funny. So what is the actual appeal?
Well, I
Is it
personally think that,
get
again, it's
you?
another way to start your own business, right? If you do buy a truck, It's also a lot of felons, a lot of people with convictions, a lot of people who couldn't get a regular job. They don't really care what your background is. Hop in that truck and get out of here, right? Go hop in the truck and make that delivery. So a lot of people choose trucking to me for background issues. When you come out of a federal prison and things like that, they actually have funding to pay for people to get their trucking license and things like that. So when you talk about being over the road, being independent, okay, they don't want me mixing with people. It is a job or a career that they can turn it into that doesn't require education, and it doesn't require like you to have the best background. So I think
Wow.
with all those things in play, for some people, when I was going through school, they didn't have homes to live in. So they literally were using trucking as their homes. So they literally got in a truck, said, I'm homeless, but I can get in a truck, drive around, have a microwave, a refrigerator, and make a couple of dollars, right? So some people are using that for temporary housing. I think there's a lot of reasons that people would choose trucking.
So it's a very flexible market, is what I'm gathering, right? So that industry as a whole is very flexible, right? It literally, can roll with the way that people roll, right? It's a type of industry that kind of morphs,
Can I chime in for a second?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Star.
John, post COVID, I literally saw an increase of demand because our company was hired as a staffing agency to recruit drivers.
Yeah.
And there is a direct pipeline now
Yeah.
from prison to halfway house to CDL license or your workforce industry, your local workforce industry, workforce development offices, unemployment offices, directly to get your CDL license, directly to driving the truck, either for yourself or for a company. And when COVID happened, it was like, hey, the schools that started for training CDL drivers increase. And like you said, it is, a saturated industry, but it's still so wide open and in high demand, even still to this day. So,
it requires no experience, right? Like it's not something like, dang, I gotta have this much experience, that much experience.
No
They
resume.
literally will put you over the road and you don't know what you're doing. You're gonna figure it out when you
just
get there.
need feet and some hands.
Yeah. So, when you
Too.
talk about it like that, a lot of people who can't get a regular job because they don't have a skill set, they don't have the prior knowledge, they don't have a degree, they don't have the things that are necessary for a lot of jobs to make a little bit of money, right? Here I am, I can give up all my time. Make a little bit of money, and then everybody's happy. And then once you get like the freedom of like, oh, I can move around, and now they're going from state to state. You may have some family in another state they're visiting.
Yeah, I'm happy because
it could be like
that you got in the back of your truck. I'm gonna need you to hurry up and get to your next destination. You carrying my load.
Yeah. So, when you think about it from that perspective, some people had nowhere else to go. Like trucking probably was the last option of, damn, I can get a good job, make some decent money, feed my family. They may never see me. These Walmart drivers are 100K plus easy. They ain't never home, but they making over 100K.
That's true. That's true.
That's
so true. Okay, so wait. So I want to sit here and let Drea jump in here. Hey, Drea, how are you?
Hey everybody, how you doing? Excuse me if I'm a little laggy. I'm
No, I think we're all in the same boat tonight. But Drea, tell us what industry you're in. Give us a little background about your job, and then let us know what people are always asking you.
Oh Lord. So, I guess it depends on what end of the conversation that I'm having, depending on the interest of the people. But I am in life insurance. I essentially help people find other ways, particularly working class families, find other ways to invest their money in low to no risk vehicles that actually grow them funds that they can use for life insurance or for life insurance not only, but also for retirement income later on. I help families set up trusts and estates. I help estate planning. I help families with annuities. I actually just got into the college planning space as well. So I show people how they can use life insurance to pay and cover the cost of college. So I actually have a very broad umbrella of things that I do, specifically within the life insurance industry. But
Those are
my
products.
chief
So those
reasoning
sounds
for
like
going
products, right? So those are the products that you offer within the life insurance industry.
correct.
Okay,
Yep.
okay,
So I
okay. So what do
particularly got
so
into.
what are we
Oh, go
missing
ahead.
here though? What do people want to know when you sit and say, "Hey, I have life insurance"? Are they thinking like you think that somebody in my family is gonna die until they realize, like, no, I'm really trying to set you up before somebody
Before
actually
something
dies,
happens.
right?
Exactly. Yes. 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 And I don't even want to say it, but the sad irony of the thing is when I reached out to a lot of people, unfortunately, they did have a family member that I had a consultation with that passed away within like 3 months to a year. So
Wow.
it's actually a very common occurrence, particularly among independent agents where within our circle, we're always talking about how, oh yeah, well, we reached out to this one family 3 months ago and their mom or their dad or their spouse contacted us to see if they actually got the policy because they just passed away unexpectedly. And unfortunately, a lot of these people are young. One of the things that we always hear is, oh, I'm young, I got more time, I'm healthy, blah, blah, blah. But unfortunately, we don't know what tomorrow holds. Case in
Facts.
point, I'm actually going to be burying a cousin
Hmm.
in law in a couple days because unfortunately he was driving for Uber and he was shot and killed at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
I had a
I
talk with
hear
him
that.
three weeks before this incident happened, and he was like, "I'll just wait a little bit longer. I feel like I got more time. I'm 38 years old." So that's one of the sad things. But more specifically, what I've been a lot of people that I talk to that Waka Flocka TikTok talking about how he could put $3 million into a policy don't work like that. But I'm just glad that it's
You know,
putting,
Dre, you know, you can't be
piquing
believing
people's
them
interest.
celebrities. They say any kind of thing. That's what you really ought to know. They're all
Hmm.
yeah, they get paid to say any kind of thing. I swear they do.
Right, right. I mean, he was kind of on point with what he was saying, but it don't work that way. But it actually opens the doors to conversations, to options that people don't even know that they have available to them. So I'm grateful for that little bit even though it was misinformation, I'm grateful for it because I've helped transform a lot of lives with the products and services that I have.
Yeah, you
So,
know,
Andrea, what made you get into
go ahead.
this industry?
Education. Like we need to know about things that the wealthy have been using for eons.
Right.
Life insurance is the reason why the Rockefeller family is going on strong to this day. What
Hmm.
they'll
Oh,
do is they'll build a family trust. Everybody gets a life insurance policy that is actually under the umbrella of the trust. When somebody needs to borrow from their whole life policy, they do it for starting up a business, for paying for college, et cetera, et cetera. Somebody then they take out another life insurance policy that goes into the trust. So they use life insurance to actually build up a family bank. And when
Hmm.
somebody passes away, the money goes into the trust. And the cycle just keeps repeating. Like they have generated billions of dollars doing this. And it's something that's actually fairly easy to do. And I wish more families were open to the idea of actually doing it because you can
well, when you
actually
come
skip the
back, because we're
middleman,
gonna
which is
have
the
you back
banks.
again, Dre, and you're gonna show us how to do that, boo. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
we
show
gonna
you
take
how to
our
do
pen
it.
and
Most
paper out,
definitely.
and yeah, we're gonna sit here and learn how to make these billions because that's what we want to do, right? We want to be
Hmm.
Like
empowered
it's
and we want to make billions, y'all. Come on, let's keep it
that
real,
part.
right? We we want to sit
That
here
part.
use these skills that so that we can increase. You know, we can increase our financial situation, and that way, if COVID hit us, if post COVID hit us, right? If another virus comes our way, anything that keeps us sitting at home, we can then know how to utilize some other options and make it work for us. But we have to first know these things. right? This is just a brief
Exactly.
introduction, right? Because there's a lot going on out here in this world that we really are not privy to. You have to really know somebody in that industry in order to know the ins and outs. Because we can think we know all day long, but what you find out is what you thought wasn't exactly that, right? And
That's right.
so, there's a lot with this, but
It's
Drea,
levels.
my
Oh,
cousin
it's so many
Star
Very
has a
levels.
many
military
levels.
background. I
Yes.
want y'all to know that Drea has a military background too.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yep. Served in the
what
Navy for 8
branch?
years. I was in Navy.
All right.
Navy. All right, awesome, awesome. I did 20 in the Army Reserve
All
and
right.
Okay.
National Guard.
Well, thank you,
That's
ladies,
what's
for your
up. That's awesome.
service. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
service.
Thank you for your support. We appreciate that.
I know,
Thank you.
Drea, we're gonna come back and you're gonna have to let me know your schedule because that every time she talks about that life insurance, like that, it's so hot. I'm talking about
Yes, very hot.
I've been licking good.
I mean,
That,
Yes,
the
yeah, you
key is
basically
in the
was saying,
word.
that's right.
It,
Life
the key is in the
insurance.
word. It's called life
Yes,
insurance. Like if you want something for just your final expenses, we have final expense funeral and burial or cremation policies for that. You want something just for that, but it's called life insurance for a reason. Like there's so much that you can utilize like life insurance for because it covers your insurable needs while you are living, such as paying off debts. I mean, that's another conversation. Like there's so much that you can do with it.
oh yeah,
And
girl,
unfortunately,
your stuff is finger licking good. I keep saying that, just like
juicy.
But
Yes,
she,
We can't have this on the public forum. Can we get a private family meeting?
oh
okay, that's what
man,
I think.
absolutely.
just like,
I'm
Can,
game.
Yes,
can we about at that trust level? I think it's time to establish the family trust and the family bank. Because why is
that's
any of
right.
us
Right.
borrowing
okay,
from?
no, Star, no. Let me
Skip the
correct you.
middleman.
What you don't
Skip it.
know is that Lawanda's children, we already have trust, boo.
Well,
I'm
listen,
just
I need to
saying.
join. Excuse me, I'm about to chime in. I'm about to be an inducted sister cousin.
Inducted.
That's right.
Hey, you already know. You already see. Star is our cousin, but Star is technically too our like a sister because we hang so much all the time, right? But
Yes, yes.
she never mentioned a trust before, so she didn't know that we had one. But again, yeah, I got you. I got you on that.
She ready
I,
now. Listen, she ready.
yeah, I'm always ready. You know my pastor. Y'all know my pastor. He's the one who always say, big bold letters. If you stay ready,
You ain't
what?
gotta get
Never
ready.
have to get ready.
There
Come
you
on,
Right.
the best pastor I know. I'm just simply saying.
go.
But wait though, because this is only a 2-hour show, so I want to sit here and let Sakina say just a few things because Sakina actually has a background in a professional background in HR, and Sakina has been very instrumental when talking to me about some of the policies and things at
Yes.
work, no matter if it's on a county level, a state level, or a federal level. Sakina, really, has in-depth understanding about that. So, Sakina, so just about 2 or 3 minutes, because I want to be able to, let people know, get in here and have time enough to let them know when we're coming on, and some of the other things that are coming up that we're going to talk about. But I'm going to give you a few minutes, Sakina.
Well, first of all, I want to commend you ladies, right, on just all this fabulousness, right, that you have been going through and just, all the leverage you brought to the jobs, right? Because good workers are hard to find, and just all the things that you attributed to the jobs, right? Because this level, right, that you bring is attributed, right? You didn't just get it, you earned it, you achieved it. You see what I'm saying? These are rewards, right? And you succeeded. And even so, when you came back, you bounced back. You created your own job. So when I even asked you things that men would have done, you said they didn't do that to you. Did you see that? I expected something different. And you said, no, they didn't do that to me. As a matter of fact, They help me out. We have something that doesn't allow that. And this is what HR does. It proves this is not supposed to happen. That's what Star you was showing. You see what I'm saying? It's not supposed to happen. And this is what's your name? Vaselina. You was trying to show. It's not supposed to happen. And this is what Drea gives policies.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Before it happens. So
Mm-hmm.
all
Now, see,
together.
Drea gets more than that. Yeah, Drea's information be the juice, y'all. I can't
You
even
see what I'm
lie.
saying?
Every
But
time she come up here and talk, we just be dripping juice. That's it.
you see
Just
what I'm
period.
saying? But all together, y'all are
Yes,
powerful. You see what I'm saying?
yes.
And so
This has
this
been a
right
great
here,
show because
these
there's so many layers
conversations
to
that
everybody
y'all
does too.
building, all together, y'all building.
Mm.
This right here is what's needed moving forward. Cause somewhere along the line, our sisters got lost.
Mhm.
That's okay.
You
We
see?
gonna find them. We gonna find them in the workforce and in the workplace. And they gonna some of our lost sisters gonna come up here and share, their knowledge and wisdom and how we can sit here and continue to be a thriving force, a thriving,
Mhm.
represent it. Because for me, that is the problem that I have, right? I don't feel like we have enough representation in the workplace. I don't think we have enough
Mhm.
higher ups that look like us and where we're represented. And I think by the time they do get up that high, they're extremely afraid about what we will say as a Black person, right? And especially as a Black
Mhm.
female, we're hostile, we're this and we're that. And so one of the reasons why, I love this show is because we get a chance to sit and really show people, no, no,
Mm.
no, that attitude that we have is warranted for our workplace and what we do. We're more than just moms, right? We are also employees. We also employ others. We are so
Mhm.
much more than what we're being
Right.
represented, way more than hostile, right? We're knowledgeable, we're intelligent, we can hold, very good conversations, we can feed one another. There's so
Mhm.
much more that we can do. And I don't feel like we're always represented in the best light. So I'm
Mhm.
here to help. I'm just one person, right? I'm just here trying to help change that, change that mindset and that idea that we can't come together and build
Mhm.
when this is the year of
Yes.
the women going out, right? So whether Kamala makes it to being president or not, the very fact that we have a female up that high representing one of the highest positions in this land right now, it's time for us to sit here and make sure we sparkle, sparkle, bling, bling, and
Mhm.
everything that we do.
Come on.
Just period.
And we're gonna stop going with lookership,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We're gonna stop going with lookership. Seeing that
So,
we don't know what something look like and know what it is for real.
well,
Mm.
you know what? I was let me expound on that just a little bit though while you're saying that. So leadership is right. All of this hoopla about her being Black or not, but guess what? For a woman, because for a woman, it's very different. We are our own tribe. We are our own group of people. I don't think men realize that, right? So when a woman is in a sure, if she's married, there's a husband, but there's always going to be another woman to aid her in her specific area of need where she needs to be healed, right? So women, we are our own group of people. If I saw another woman 3,000 miles away having to carry one kid on her back, a kid in her front. She's pregnant with another. She got to get the food. She probably got I don't know if she had a mean man at home, but right, she got to get home to all the other kids. Come on. There's not a woman in the world that's going to be like, oh, well, I can't relate to that. Yes, we can. And we can relate to it so much so that when we come in to help one another, we look for ways to share the load.
Mhm.
We don't just look to be like,
Right.
oh, just look at you as a woman and see, ooh, let me tell you how to get better. No, we look for ways to help each other as women all over this planet how to share the load, share the weight because we know where it's needed at. You see what I'm
That's
Exactly.
saying?
what I
Respecting
mean
each
when I
other's
say
differences.
lookership with
Right.
among us.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about among us.
Mhm.
Right. That's all I was saying.
Right.
Yeah, well, I just took it a step further because I know all of this, thing about her being black was an issue. And for women, color is
Yeah.
not the issue like that. It is because of who we are as a people when we are born female. We're not looking at color. We're looking at when one for the female collective, if one represents us like that, she represents us all like that. We all take the credit because we know for a fact that we can reach that high too. She's the first one to do it. Now there'll be just like when people were, in the closet and they came out and they used the words, they used specific terminology. Like when one came out, we all because now we can openly display our sexuality. What's the same thing with women? Because one has come out, now we can openly display our intelligence, right? We can openly display all of these things that makes us that woman. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to hide it no more. We don't have to hide, dumbing down ourselves, because other people, why, to make another person comfortable. We don't have to
Mm-hmm.
show our children that see I'm mommy, but see I'm not all that. No, you're a mommy and you're all of that. You see what I'm saying? Now we get to come out with 1,000% and be ourselves, which is something that is needed. We are reflected in the actions of another powerful woman. So that's all I want to sit and say. So we're gonna have a round table and let you guys close out.
Well, I think this conversation has definitely been amazing. And I think that it's empowering to see other women walking in fearlessness and making decisions that are helping them with their economics, with their families, and they're being just a icon that people can look up to. And I think, well, I think you guys were talking about one of the matriarchs of your family coming to California and doing her thing. So we can all shine. We don't have to make anyone look bad. We can just pull each other up and continue to just be a blessing to all of us by just giving our story, what we went through, so we can share with others what they don't have to go through. So this has been truly amazing for me.
Yes, Rasha.
Mhm.
Oh, I think some of the people are muted, Sakina. I don't know
Okay.
why they're
We're
muted.
Um,
gonna
And
go
y'all,
with
they still can't
I,
unmute themselves.
I'll go next. LaShawn, this is a phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Gemini, this is an amazing
Thank you. You know my
conversation.
government name. Y'all hear her?
Edit that out.
Your government name.
Busting somebody out using my government name.
Gemini, this is
Government.
awesome. I think this conversation is much needed. I don't think it's enough of this
That's
conversation.
right. Yeah.
I think that just within this one, session, that there's,
Powerful.
several more topics just to elaborate on. And I think that this is a video that can be shared. I think that this conversation closes gaps. There's a lot of information here and a lot of different backgrounds that other generations need,
Mm-hmm.
from a younger generation also to a much older generation. I think other cultures need to watch even just this session right here, because this begins the conversations, right? The
Mm-hmm.
corporate conversations that we're not having enough of, and maybe there's not enough time on the job to have these conversations, but to have a video that can go anywhere with anyone, and that they can watch this level of conversation and take something from it back to their industry, back to their positions. You talking about managers in corporations that need to hear from real people in different industries, and not just an article that was written from one person or one perspective or one news, clip and things like that. So I think that this is just the most, phenomenal and most powerful thing I've seen post COVID for the workforce development industry as a whole. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks for having me. And best blessings on blessings. Like, I love it. I'm so proud of you, for real.
Well, thank you so much, cousin. I absolutely love it. And yep, and all our journeys and adventures are together.
Mhm.
We're a thing.
Yes.
We really are.
You
We
are the
can't
thing.
have one without can't have peanut butter without the jelly. It don't work like
The
that.
yin without the yang. We are yin
There
and
you
yang.
go.
That's it.
I love it, Val. There you go. That is so us. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Y'all, how they keep getting muted, Sakina? Are they muting themselves and then making you do all that work by unmuting them every 5 seconds?
Okay, this is Valencia.
Yes, so I am unmuted. Vanessa, what is the new heart? See, because my generation,
I used to do
we
that
do
too.
this.
I used to.
But what is the new heart? Oh, excuse me, it's this. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Or like this.
They doing all kinds.
Yes.
Oh,
So
wait, do it
so
again,
They
Dre.
just
Do it again.
signing.
Vanessa, yeah, there you go. Come and show them. Okay. Let me
I don't
just give
know.
y'all some new tea.
Uh-oh.
This is the
Okay.
new way. Okay.
Or like this.
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay.
All right.
And that is from your Gen Z. That is from your Gen Z. Okay. But my biggest takeaways from this is it's lovely to see the diversity. I am a true millennial, okay? True to the millennials, okay? And it's just really great to have these conversations. I think that it is rich. I think that it is something that is needed because just of the diversity of our ages, the diversity of our backgrounds. Like Star said, we need more of these conversations. And even for this platform, to my sister LaShawn, okay, you know, GemiNile, true to GemiNile, okay, I'm proud of you, and I pray that this platform does grow and continue to grow because I think that the conversations that we're having on corporate conversations are very rich and are very needed. And then again, when I just want to tie back to the diversity of the group, it's a little bit for everybody, right? It's not just for one person. It's a little bit here for everybody, for everyone to learn something and take something from. It's a wealth of knowledge
Yes.
on this Zoom call. That's why I keep saying that it is rich.
Yes.
This is rich, baby.
Come on.
So that's just one of my biggest takeaway. Thank you everyone for coming, for showing up, for being here, for being vulnerable. Thank you, sister, for creating this safe space for us to
Yes.
feel safe, for us to share, for us to feel comfortable with stating our opinions or not being afraid to ask questions. So appreciate y'all.
Yes, love it, love.
Yes.
I don't know how to do the new one, but we just gonna stick with the millennial,
I know,
Okay.
I know. Drea put us on the map with that one. I can't even. My fingers
Like,
ain't even long enough to do that.
Okay, now we have Cece.
Hey, so I just want to say that I didn't really know what to expect, but this has been really fun.
good.
I've had a great time just talking to different people from all like walks of life, no matter what career path you chose, like the diversity and the dynamic of everything that everybody is doing. Like this has just been so dope for me. And I wouldn't mind doing it again, honestly.
Yeah.
I
Come
had
on,
a
we put
really,
all of
really
y'all
good
down.
time.
All of y'all, everybody down for the next.
Come on.
Yeah, because I just think that for anybody joining, like it's just so informational. And again, no matter what field you chose, right?
Yes.
Social worker, truck driver, insurance, like no matter what field, business owners, like it has just been great to get so much information and seeing people like us doing our thing. It lets you know that you can do it too. I know that they're seeing a lot of that, but some of it is so I don't want to call it ratchet TV because when
Yes,
you
it's
see
ratchet.
when you see the black women on TV, they're
It's
always like
totally
doing something low to try to get high,
yes.
So
Right.
this platform is literally allowing us to show us in a space that's
Marvelous
like
light.
In a good
Marvelous
light. Yeah,
come
it's
on.
showing us in a good
Yes.
light. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Yeah, because we're shiny, but people need to see more shiny black women. And in our collective, they have this thing. Hey, black woman is God. Okay, yeah, we need you to see that in real time though.
Yeah.
Period.
Period.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. And like I said, if anybody has any further questions, I mean, trekking is cool if you don't mind being away and you don't, and then you love yourself. You gotta love yourself to be on this journey because it's just
That's the
you
truth.
and the road out here. So if
You.
you want to learn to get to
Yeah.
know yourself, you want to know more of what you like, what you don't like, honey, be in the truck by yourself
Okay.
for a
Come
couple of
on.
weeks,
That part.
in another state where you know no one, So for me, it's a lot of fun though.
Good, good.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Drea,
And as I bring in the last and the most precious pearl to me, I'm gonna say it like that.
I
Ah, listen,
Well,
I
I
want to let
came
y'all
late,
know,
man. I
Drea's my
came late. I
little
didn't even know it
cousin.
was a meeting today because I'm so sorry. I didn't know we was doing this today.
Yes, so
But it's
Drea
always a
called me at the end because I don't think she got the messages or whatever. At the
no.
end, Gemini had said, Sakina, I ran
How she
into
say it?
Drea
That
and
is
she
so
said, and
Gemini.
I
How
said,
she say
oh,
it again, Sakina? How
so
she say
yeah.
it?
She said, Sakina. Drea said, I said, oh, you
That
know.
is so Gemini. Okay.
shame. Don't do me. Don't do me.
And so Drea said, "Hey,
Oh
cousin." I
my
said,
God.
"Oh, I didn't
Sure
know you
did.
didn't get." So I was like, "I'm all right now." So
Nice.
cuz I love you and I'm so
I
sorry.
love you
Yeah.
So
too.
Gemini,
Great
she
information,
did
Drea.
let me know.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I
Like
had to throw
I
in the
think
buttercups.
today's what you say about buttercups. I'm hungry. Don't be doing that. Um,
You got the
but
floor,
today,
Drea. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you good. Um, just everybody here is just a representation of. I mean, Sakina knows my mom, so I mean they were tight like this. But one thing that I always valued about my mother was her hard work, her strength, and her I can do anything attitude. That is whenever I see a black woman, that is what I always feel to my core. I don't care what we're doing. So what this represents is just the power of the black woman, and I'm all here for it. I mean, we can do anything. Living proof right here. And it's sad to say I'm not gonna go on one of my sidebar rants because GemiNile and my cousin know I'm pretty infamous for them. But they don't want to see that.
They
So
don't.
the only thing that we can do is make them see that.
Yes.
Is one of the reasons why I left corporate because I mean you can label me difficult all you want to. You're not gonna abuse me. I'm sorry.
Right.
I know my worth. So and you're not gonna
Absolutely.
I
abuse
love it. I know
my
my
people
worth.
either. I,
Period.
I
Yeah.
know my worth. You're not gonna abuse us. You're not. I will be the first one to advocate for all my sisters. I don't care. Always. But
Amen.
I'm just very grateful. I mean, I came late. I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody that was here before
You
me.
came right on
Um,
time.
well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. But I really appreciated what I heard. To
Yeah.
all of you, I salute you all for all your hard work, for your resilience, because I know it ain't easy. We always fighting for the spot that we rightfully should have,
Mhm.
and we getting there. We just can't
We
give up.
getting there.
You
Yep.
know,
We
We are
interested. You
getting
know
there.
what?
we
With
getting
a
there.
few more shows and some more dialogue, hopefully we have some other, ladies, join in too, and even some men to let us know about your workplace, right? We're gonna get into those types of
Mhm.
conversations here. So Rasha, as we get ready to close out, I'm gonna sit here and give you the last word. Sakina, when she's done, if you don't mind, just if we can play our intro, thing again as we go off after Rasha's done.
Okay, can I can I get my clothes out?
Oh, okay, then you can close
You
after
you
Rasha.
want me to
Yes.
go first and then close out, Sakina?
Yeah, you can close out first, Rasha, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
close out.
So just reiterate that we all have something of value to bring to the table and that we need to continue to keep operating out of fearlessness. We need to go and move forward and we need to see our visions. We need to see our visions clearly and we need to implement the vision. And then we also can share if we want to, and we can maybe we keep it to ourselves if we need to, just to make sure that we are going the way that we want to go and not someone else leading us on their path. But we can always lift each other up just by the smile in our face, the hello, when we say good morning. We don't know what the person is going through next to us. So it's always good to give your best self, even if you don't know that person. But I think that the most important thing that we have is being ourselves, loving ourselves, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. What does our self-care look like? And I actually wore my little shirt. I'm part of the self-care club.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's so cute.
Join that club.
Sorry.
So
So
cute, Rasha.
continue to be yourself, continue to do you, and make sure you're your best you.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Self-care
I
will
love it.
reduce burnout. Okay.
Come on.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, well, again, I want to congratulate y'all on today's corporate conversation. It was my sister's big today's first day
Yes.
celebrating you ladies and this conversation. But I also want to say, as an entrepreneur and an assistant in all of the things that she did, she also did that with smoking conversations.
Mm.
Right? That's what it was with me. Right? Because that sisterhood with me, she gave that to me. And that's what smoking conversations was. And that's who Silverback Nations is. Because that gym had my back. Silverback Nations has smoking conversations. And
Don't make me
then
cry.
here
Don't you
come
cry either. Don't you
here
lead
come
up to no
corporate
crying moment. No
conversations.
crying, self.
So I'm gonna close and let you know you are all that
Period.
and a bag of
Yes.
chips.
Ah!
Period.
And we gonna close with
Period.
that. These
Y'all
chips
can do it
are
better.
from
Y'all say
Northland, North
it, period.
Dakota. So y'all can find these. Go to www. Northland, North Dakota. These people own this bag of chips. I had one to my doctor appointment, and her husband owns acres of land, and they make their own kettle chips. And so she came as a potato chip, and they gave out their own personal chips. So Gemini, you are all that
And a
and your
bag of
own bag
chips.
of
Egg
You
the
know,
chips with a Snickers bar on side and a grape
Okay.
soda.
chips. Let me close out.
yeah, we're gonna send the invites too for everybody, that's up here just in case
Mhm.
because me and Rosh are gonna be here all the time. Of course, Sakina is not going nowhere; she has her own show, and so
Yeah.
we're gonna be here. But if you guys want to, feel free to join in at any point in time. Y'all know I'm gonna make sure I will send you the link for our shows.
Okay.
And we're going to be
Perfect.
doing this consistently, because I
Yes.
want it to grow and I want to kind of build and expound on some of the industries that you all do, because we can't just talk about it all in a 2-hour show. It's going to take, quite some time. But if we, take it bit by bit, there's lots of people
Bite-sized pieces.
and who relate to you, right? And can
Yes.
understand, what is happening here and would like to, do it a little bit more. Plus, we have a book series too coming up with Don Clifton, Strength Finders. Oh gosh, y'all talking about empowered baby. All this that we're talking about, and by the time it is over, y'all gonna be like, I cannot believe this girl. Like I have totally found me, found my niche, and everything else, found that confidence too, to really just go out here and shine and do you. So we're happy. We're happy people. Me and my sisters, we're all happy people.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so my cousin here, she's happy. She employs people. She's the manager. She's the owner, y'all. Write her, give her that feedback about that some of her policies that she got in her HR book.
There you go. There you go.
We may have to go around and discuss that a little bit.
There you go.
But other than that, Sakina, anytime you're ready to sit here and play, I want to thank you everybody for tuning in with me tonight. I really appreciate you, and I will see everybody on the next show. And we're out of here. So Sakina's gonna take us out.
Right, hold on. Here I come. Right now. I gotta pull it up.
You.
Are you seeing it or no?
You gotta press
Yes.
play.
Okay.
Okay. There's no music, but this will work. This is good enough. Sakina, you got your share on mute.
Huh?
You got it on mute. Nobody can hear the music.
I got my I got my
Probably
share
got to
on
hit
mute.
share your audio.
I don't see it. Hold on. I don't know where my audio is at on mute.
It's
It look
okay,
like it's
Sakina.
showing.
Okay, I'm so sorry, y'all. I don't know which one is
No,
on mute.
you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, John, you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
They dropped off. They had to. Yeah, my sisters and them have another appointment, and so I wanted to make sure that we're timely. You know what they think about Black folk in our time, right? CB time,
We
CP
CP
time.
CP.
Mm.